Hello, Matt Roybal here, aka Define999, part of the FCC crew. I want to send a shout out to my boy Scott. Did a really cool video on Mexican books and and actually more than just the Mexican editions, just basic foreign collecting general based on condition. It's a really cool video. I'll put a link to that here in a little bit in the comments. But what I wanted to talk about today was a guy named Rafael Lopez Sb. He was an artist that worked for Vertice in Spain, and he actually created something they call the Vertice generation, or Generation Vertice in Spain, and I'll get to that more in a little bit. But anyway, the artist, Rafael Lopez Sb, he was born in 1937 in Barcelona, and the main points of his career early on were Western titles and war titles. I think he was working on those basically through the 50s and the early 60s. But, and this is when things get interesting, in 1966 he joins Vertice. Now Vertice, the publisher, why they chose to do their own covers, I'm not exactly sure. I'm assuming they could have gotten the artwork just like a lot of other publishers, Marvel publishers did, but they chose to do their own covers. What's up?
M-I-J... Mihal says, hey man, Maria Sabina?
Yes, Maria Sabina. She is, I forget, but basically the magic mushroom witch, but not witch in the English sense, more of a spiritual person. Yeah, cool shirt. And, yeah, I think that is a cigarette and not a joint, but I do collect cool shirts, so Maria Sabina. Anyway, so Rafael Lopez Sb. So he started working for Vertice, and he started redoing covers. The interiors were the same. They packaged the interiors differently. They forced them to fit a smaller format book, so I believe that actual panels and even some of the story elements might have changed. So there was some issues there, but let's go over some of the work he did. He was also not the only artist at Vertice that was redoing covers for Marvel. There was a guy by the name of Enrique Torres Prat that was doing some cool stuff, but when most people think of the Vertice redraws, they think of Rafael Lopez Sb. So
James Fletcher says, hola.
Hola, ¿cómo está? So, Avengers 57, first appearance of Vision. It's a cool book. I have a pretty nice American one here. It's got a little bit of issues, some soft corners, but it's a great book. I love it. And kind of is a classic of the Silver Age. It really is. 12-cent Marvel. Now, when Vertice redid it, using Rafael Lopez Sb, notice the smaller size of the Vertice book.
James Fletcher says, muy bien.
Muy bueno, gracias. Notice the smaller size of the Vertice book. It's also thicker, so they also packaged them with multiple stories. So like the Marvel, it just has, you know, the first appearance of Vision story. This one I believe has 3 stories. I don't remember what stories are in there, but I do know that the classic Vision story is in there. And look at how Lopez redid the artwork. The 57, it's very red, which is one of the reasons why I like it. I like it a lot. And I believe this was, I think it was Gene Colan? I don't remember, which is stupid because I should know that. But anyway, classic artwork. Lopez Sb redid it, but he added color. And one of the things that they did a lot as well was, you know, they would change up the colors of the costumes quite regularly. The interiors are black and white, so it's not like it didn't match the interior. The interior was black and white, so they had freedom to change the colors. Now, I think Vision, the image of Vision is just, I mean, it's basically the same pose, but it's got a power there to it. And
James says John
Buscema, yeah, that's it. Classic art with John Buscema. Sorry about that. And he did an interesting thing where he kind of chopped off his, instead of having, he has like some smoke, but he cut it off here in a straight line, almost like a picture frame. and you know, he's above the Avengers and tripping out just like on the American original, but very cool. Cuidado con la vision, careful with the vision instead of behold the vision. Edition especial, special edition, and this one's in pretty darn good condition. Oftentimes you see these Vertice books, they're pretty rough. They can be very, very damaged. But this is a good example of an American Marvel seen through the lens of Rafael Lopez Sb. Can you see them both, Chai? Can you see both of them? So let's move on. So this is a really cool book. I love it. I have another one. I don't have a lot of Vertice stuff. I just don't. You know, you can only collect so many foreign books. You have to focus on certain things. But of the Vertice stuff that I have in my collection, I consider it, you know, up there in the higher quality foreigns that I have. I'm gonna get another classic book, Fantastic Four 67. First, I consider this the first hymn. Some people don't. Some people consider it a cameo. I do not, because I think him is actually in a couple panels. He's not just on one panel. I think him is on, I don't remember the amount, but he comes out of the cocoon, and there's the cocoon. Classic artwork, classic Marvel key, and also classic Silver Age. Now, Rafael Lopez Espi changed it up. I think he sort of simplified it in a weird way. Notice again the small size. All the Vertices, most of the Vertices, I believe, from that era are smaller in size. Changed up the colors a little bit. Background used to be white. On his version, of course, it's kind of a avocado-ish green, maybe a little lighter. The Human Torch is below, flying below instead of behind. The power of him, el poder de él, in Spanish. This is interesting too. Historias gráficas para adultos. So they thought these were for adults and not for kids. Of course, lots of kids got a hold of them. Los Four Fantásticos, Fantastic Four. Another Vertice that's in really good condition. You don't often see them in these conditions.
Says, gotta agree with you on that first appearance. It's right there with it on the U.S. cover with a thumbs up.
Yeah, I agree. Do not think this is a cameo of him. I think this is the first appearance of him, but people argue that all the time. Lopez Espi, you know, he followed the cover, but he changed it up. He also simplified it. There's less members on there. You know, there's let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 other people around the cocoon. Lopez removed some of them to just include the 4. And I really like it. You know, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but very cool. And reimagined, again, put through the artist's own style, and he, you know, changed up some key things on the cover. I like it. I like that one a lot. Another one that I have, and I think coming soon, a Star Wars set video will be coming. Take in classic artwork, you know. It doesn't get much more classic sci-fi than that. Now, Lopez Espi also would basically, so Vertice, I don't know why, but the name kind of changed later to Mundi Comics. I think it's, you know, like with publishers, there's different lines and whatever. But this would be the Star Wars Lopez Espi cover. And he pretty much stuck with the original, but certain things are definitely different. Luke's lightsaber does not go through that the X-wing up there. Vader is still green. A lot of later foreign editions made him black to match the movie. You'll see down on the bottom another ship. I forget the name of that fighter. I should know it, being a Star Wars head. I'm just drawing a blank. Notice the ship is gone there. He removed the ship. He removed the TIE fighter that should have been right there. So he removed the clutter. He kept the classic and removed the clutter. And basically redrew everything. Luke's face is different. Han, different. But still the same, but definitely different.
Yeah, and it's different because Luke doesn't have a red lightsaber.
Well, it is still red. Oh, yeah, in the movie, yeah.
Blue.
Yeah, you're right, son. You're definitely right about that.
You didn't even recognize his red lightsaber.
Well, yeah, I wasn't thinking about comparing it to the movie.
Can I get my brownie?
My son is right though. So he's got
Can I get my brownie now?
he knows his stuff. Okay.
Sebi,
So-
I'm gonna give it to you. Hold on.
I made a...
I do have Tomb of Dracula #1 that I think was redrawn by Lopez Espi, but on the Spanish database it doesn't say. I don't know if it's a mistake or what exactly happened. I have some other examples. Here is an Avengers 52. So, other interesting examples that I liked. Can you see that pretty good in that? The Grim Reaper. On the original American book, slicing the background, Lopez Espi changed it so that he is slicing through the cover and emerging. Some people don't like his artwork. I like how he reimagined this cover. I really like it. Moving on. This one is Avengers 25. Now this is one where he changed it pretty drastically. Enter Doctor Doom. You see Doctor Doom kind of above
James says
our heroes.
you've taught him well with the laughing emoji.
What? Laughing emoji.
Laugh the crying emoji?
Oh. Sorry. Oh, cool. Thanks, man. Yeah, the Avengers, Los Vengadores. Again, this is another Vertice. They look like they're the same size, but they're not. This would actually be smaller. One thing about this one, though, is notice how much darker of a cover it is. How much grimmer Lopez Espi went. And he often does that. On a lot of his artwork, he would include skulls and stuff that just because he wanted to. Just because he wanted to make the tone darker. And on this one, you see the Avengers lined up. Basically, I think Scarlet Witch's look is a different pose. But look at Doctor Doom just kind of rising above them. And just his mask and just the reflections of the mask. Cool. I really think that was cool what he did there. Avengers 48. This is something he did a lot too with circles. He liked circles a lot on his covers. You'll see here the Black Knight. It's got the Black Knight. Kind of changed up his outfit, the coloring a little bit. Notice on the American, the cityscapes kind of makes it a little busy. Look how he simplified it. He just removed the cityscape. Very cool. Classic Lopez Espi. This is probably one of the coolest ones. This is a classic Bronze Age book, Werewolf by Night 32. First appearance of Moon Knight. And in the classic artwork, you got Werewolf there and Moon Knight basically fighting him and the maiden down there. Look what Lopez Espi did. He used the same pose for Werewolf by Night. But
Worthing says, "Hey, Master,
Matster. Hey, what's up, Ken?" And instead of putting Moon Knight's focus on the werewolf, he has him charging at the viewer. That is freaking cool. You know, for a lot of reasons, it's almost like he's already finished with Werewolf and he's coming for you now. And of course, he changed the colors. Moon Knight should be all white. Lopez Espi didn't care. He felt like giving him a red cloak. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Classic foreign edition key. If you're a Moon Knight head, you got to have that book. And this is in the Mundi comics, so it's the later iteration of Vertice. This is the man here, Lopez Espi. And here's some classic Fantastic Four 1 artwork that he did. And that's another interesting thing is you can find Lopez Espi's artwork for pretty cheap online, whereas a lot of the American original art, especially from the masters, can go for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. You can find Lopez Espi stuff for pretty reasonable prices, and he's an amazing artist. There's also a line of sticker cards that he did in Spain that I think are of great interest. And back to why they call themselves the Vertice generation. You have to remember that for a lot of Spanish kids in the late 60s and early 70s, their brush with Marvel was through the Vertice Marvels. So the covers that they grew up with and the covers that they adore and that touches that nostalgic nerve for them are the Rafael Lopez Sb covers, and they are the Vertice books. Now, there were negatives. Some of the stories would get cut off, continuity would get messed up. So they weren't all perfect. But for a lot of Spanish youth that grew up with these books, they call themselves the Vertice generation. And Rafael Lopez Espi, there's also some artists in Europe. I believe the French ones, I forget his name, but there's some really cool reimaginings in France of Marvel covers. But Rafael Lopez Espi is an artist that if you're into comic books, you need to know his name. You need to know his name. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little Facebook Live.